Okay, guys, let's get into this. I'm going to go through some of it really quickly, but emphasize what really the idea behind what I think best value is and why it's becoming more important. Because throughout all of time, the requirement to change has always been there. But the issue with nowadays is that the requirement to change is due to technology and AI. And it's not because of any of the traditional ways of increasing competition or skill level. It's actually because AI is changing the supply chain. And in particular, it's eliminating jobs. It's eliminating steps that no longer have to be done, that used to have to be done. And that's how it's creating the efficiency. And we see the evolution of it, how it's minimized risk, minimized decision making, minimize the use of the mind, and as it keeps going, starts to eliminate people. No one needs to take your order anymore. And now we start seeing it eliminate technical, highly technical jobs and specialty jobs. This is the air traffic control tower in London, right? And I don't even think it's on the site. But you can see there's far less people that are needed. And then you have large organizations like Amazon. And this is the crazy part. And it's even worse today, 3 years later. But you can see in 2013, 1% of their workforce was robots. In 10 years, jumped to 33%. That's absolutely crazy. And anyone that doesn't understand what it's doing today is they're really falling behind. You can have now a computer who can keep track of every single customer and know what your order was, everything you've ever ordered, and keep track of it forever. That's something a human being could never do. And you don't need anyone to deliver it or cook it. But with AI now, in Pascal, we'll be going over it a little bit more, but the reality of it is, when I look at AI, what's the expertise of AI? Which is changing the whole scape of jobs right now. What's the expertise of AI? What does AI do better than anyone else?
Follow orders.
It's take directions. So any job where someone needs to tell you what to do is going to be eliminated. Because they already have AIs that now you can tell it anything to do, it will go out and do it for you, right? And that's the crazy part about this, is you can have a whole marketing team where they specialize AIs, one in what to create your content on, another to create the script, and another to create all the audio, visual, and everything. And the one guy, the leader, tells all of them what to do and then waits for it to get done. And then all they have to do is review it, make minor edits, and publish it. And they can do the work of a whole team, right? It's absolutely crazy. But it's eliminating the need for any activity where someone needs to tell you what to do. Yes, Chuck?
Yeah, they predict that the first billion-dollar company manned by one person should come up in the next 2 or 3 years.
It's crazy. And that's the real issue for professionals, is that everything that we've been taught to do has been to increase risk instead of eliminate it, right? And that's the big issue, is we have to change because it's getting so efficient. But we always knew that because best value has always been on trying to eliminate these activities in the first place. And Pavel, you should get all these slides too, so you know. And you should get the comedy video link, in case you guys wanted it. But the issue is you still need a leader, right? You can automate up to the point of telling things what to do, telling, this is a totally automated kitchen, one that takes very advanced type, methods and hands usually. But this group created a totally automated kitchen. There are no people who need to cook the food. And the food is Michelin star, quality. But the key is, AI cannot program itself. You needed a leader. And even in this group of people, not all of them had the vision of this, right? There's one of these guys, I forgot which one it was, but one of those guys was a guy who had the vision of what to do. He gathered the other students to do it and also had the wherewithal to know that they had to get a really good chef on their team in order to do this automated kitchen, right? And that's what people don't realize with AI. AI is limited because AI can only do what it has been told. Literally, it cannot learn. And because of how much it can do and how much it can do what people tell it to do, people think AI can learn. But artificial intelligence cannot learn. And if they can learn, it only can learn what? What you programmed it. So it's only can learn, its capability to learn is only as great as a person who programmed it. And people don't realize it. As awesome as it is, AI has a code. And that code limits exactly what it can do. So it can only do as much as a person who had the vision to code it. And people don't realize that. So now, when we're looking at the value of this and why Best Value integrates so much in it, the only reason we care about AI, it's not as much for the actual artificial intelligence in terms of the visionary leader. It is that we actually have to understand how to operate so we can operate the same way. Because our coding is much more advanced than any AI's coding could ever be. So anyone in the professional industry, if they want to preserve their job, they have to learn to operate just like this and be better than it. Because you want to be the one who programs it, or better yet, the one who tells someone how to program it instead of the guy actually having to use it, right? And this is what it is. We used to realize that this was an obsolete model. But actually what they're starting to realize with AI is that this is the only model. If you got to tell someone what to do, it automatically identifies that they're not in the right hole. The only way to do this is set up a structure, if you're the leader, where nobody has to be told what to do. And one of the big changes I've made that I noticed in Dr. Dean's life as he got to towards the end of his life is that Dean was a genius. He really was. He was involved in everything. And these conferences used to be really, really stressful. And the reason being is because Dean would look over every single thing, right? I would go over every little thing I was going to do. He would look over every little thing. And as the conferences weighed on, especially as we went online, they got a little less stressful because Dean's like too tired. He's like, okay, you got to be good enough, so just go out and do whatever you do, right? And I started to realize that as he went towards the end of his life, he stopped telling us what to do. He stopped getting involved in everything. And it's one of the things I have recognized with the team. They always get on me. I'm not reading their emails, and I'm not actually responding to them. And I told him, I'm not going to read anything. If you can't quickly tell me over a phone or when I see you, quickly tell me what's going on. I don't want to look at the email. I just got on Isaac the other day because I misunderstood a calculation he did because I saw the matrix and I didn't read his language. Okay, here's the matrix. Oh yeah, that should be the number. And he's like, Jacob, it says right in the email. I was like, Isaac, I'm looking at this on my phone. I got a lot of emails. I'm not going to read anything. That's your fault. You send something to me. It better be so simple. I can't misunderstand it. If you expect me to read something, I'm not going to read nothing. That's your job. It's your job to make sure it goes right. And that is what I've learned is towards the end of his life, Dean said, hey, that's your job. You can't do it, then that's what it's going to be, right? And I realized with these guys, I don't want to be involved in what they're doing, right? They go out, they know what they're supposed to do. If they can't do it right, then that's just what we are, right? That's how much we can do. In other words, Best Value starts realizing that we do not take accountability for other people's work, right? But what do? We take accountability for the system, right? We set up the right system instead of trying to take accountability for what people are doing.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
But yes, you are not accountable for other people, but you want to make other people feel the accountability.
Yes, we want to make everyone accountable for their own
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And you can help them with that.
Yes. Well, this is the way you help them.
Yeah.
Is instead of trying to change them and get into their lives, you change the system.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes, Pablo.
I've got another observation. When I met him first, he said, I remember that clearly. He said, you know, my kids can do everything they want, but I take the accountability for what they do.
Yes. Yes.
Quite
And
different, isn't it?
it is. Well, it's a little different. You know, how he meant it wasn't necessarily that he's taking accountability for our lives, but it is in the idea he was kind of, right? He felt responsible for what we did. And
I remember he said that he gave you a credit card and said, you know, you can do whatever you want with that.
yes.
I wouldn't do that.
But to be clear on that one, he didn't give it to me per se. He always let me get whatever I wanted, but he gave it to Joe and Isaac when they were 4 and 7 years old. It was a little older than that, but but yes. And so really what I did and what I've been going around teaching to professional organizations is helping them understand this is what makes an AI, right? These are the components you need. Hence, if you are going to be an expert and really the top of the line person, you have to be able to do these 3 things. You have to have this in your structure, in your system, in whatever you're doing, right? So first, it's the algorithm. You have to have the code, right? The code is a law. It's a rule. So the AI is going to go, and whatever the law states, that's what it follows. And it follows exactly to the T. And this is the same as natural laws in life. People who understand the algorithm of reality, meaning the natural laws that all human beings and all physical objects follow, whether it's mental or whether it's physical, those people who understand this, right, they become the most efficient in life. And I have an example of this. Then we go to processing power. The processing power is a microchip. And the reason why it becomes so powerful today is because our tools can design intricate systems and structures in this microchip to allow more efficient pathways and quicker pathways for the energy going through it, right? That's why it can process so quickly now and why we can process so much information at one time. And this is our structure. And whether this is the BVA structure that we've given you, or whether it's a modification to that, or whether it is how you run your own life and the structure in which you run your own life, it is the same. You need a structure that has correct processes and a correct purpose behind it, so it is efficient in what you want it to do, right? And so everyone's will be different. And one of the things that we didn't emphasize as much when Dean was here, but in every organization, the process will be different. And it has to be different in reality when you look at the logic behind it, because the people will be different, right? The overall ideas will stay the same in theory. And the last is observation. Every good AI person knows it's only as good as your data set. It's one of, Chuck actually educated me on why ChatGPT is so good. It's because before any laws were set, it actually downloaded multitudes of libraries and just different historical data that nobody can do now, because after that started happening, they have laws against it now. But it's your data set. The more accurate information, and to be honest with you, the less information. If you get all the inaccurate information out, your AI is going to be even more accurate, because it has less information that's more accurate than a lot of not good information, right? But it's only as good as your data set, and it's the same with us. If we don't have a way to keep observing and being able to look out and observe more about our system, what's going on in it, get accurate information, you know, Nathan knows this as good as any because that's his whole system was we had to get the accurate information. And that's the whole, what the structure is trying to do in the best value system, is we got to get information that's accurate, and we have to get it when? When do we have to get it? We got to get it at every single point, right? You got to have that thing be able to be accurate at every single point whenever you want it, right?